Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brady from Lee Weather Forecast here, and today we're talking about a major storm, a major nor'easter that's going to really affect the Northeast, obviously. And first, I just want to talk about, you should check this out. Capital B, capital G, underscore weather. You should definitely check this out. I put a lot of good content out there, and if you're wondering why I didn't cover the last storm, it's because I really kept it to just Twitter this time. So I just think it's important to get as much information I can, and I felt Twitter was the best way to do it for the last storm. But anyways, going to be talking about, obviously 430 mile was impressive, but I retweet a lot of good stuff from a lot of other meteorologists and weather guys, and I just try and put a lot of good content out and try and put a good forecast out and trying to help the people as best as I can. But now sliding, we're going to be talking about this major nor'easter that's going to be happening and be packing quite a punch for sure. And you see, we're going to start off here with the Euro, because the Euro has went off with this thing. It's been on this thing for like a week now, and it's just been indicating, maybe not a week, but because it doesn't go out that far, about 5 days. And as you can see, look at this start to develop. Those are sustained winds. These aren't wind gusts. These are sustained winds. Already around 40 miles an hour sustained winds. So this 45 even, that might be right there in that purple pocket. But as you can see, look at this start to take off here. I mean, this is just a deep, that's in 3 hours, a 7 millibar drop. That's about as impressive as you can get for a deepening low off the coast right there. I mean, that's a big pocket right there. Sustained winds, 50 miles an hour. This is a monster storm brewing off the coast. And we'll switch over. Look at this then, too. Doesn't deepen as much, but that wind field sure gets a lot scarier as it's just about to make landfall. I guess you could say. Don't really ever say that with a nor'easter, but over Long Island as a 982 millibar low, so it not able to strengthen as much without that ocean effect. But this is clearly an impressive storm that's going to be making a lot of impacts. Okay, and these are sustained winds. Alright, so now we're going to zoom in. So as you can see, Washington, D.C., sustained winds, maybe around 50. Go back a little bit. D.C., let's try and get to the D.C. area. DC, your max sustained winds around 17 miles an hour, and you gust as much as up to 40, which is after the storm. But during the storm, around 35 mile an hour gusts. If you live in the DC area, New York City, I'd like to see your impacts if you don't mind. During the storm, look at it, even a little thunder on this on the backside. You gust as much as up to 50 miles an hour. Pulling around 1.5 inches of rain. Maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain for New York City here. And yeah, you gust after the storm, you're going to gust to around 45 miles an hour, but during the storm, you're going to have sustained winds around 25 miles an hour and peak at 50 mile an hour wind gusts. It looks here. We're shifting here. Look at that. Look what happens then with that 980 millibar low right over Massachusetts. And we go over to 4 a.m. time frame here. I mean, look at that. A 973 millibar low. And then look at this pocket here inland. As you see, coastal sustained winds very strong. 40 miles an hour on Nantucket and right off the tip of the Cape, as you can see. Very strong winds as well. But look at this pocket here inland. Something I've been watching. 30 mile an hour sustained winds. I think there's going to be a pocket inland and there's going to be a pocket on the coast. That's what we're trying to look at. But at this point now, look at these wind gusts. I mean, this is the most incredible thing to look at. I mean, these are 85, close to 85 mile-an-hour wind gusts inland. That doesn't happen with your typical nor'easter, okay? Usually happens on the coast, and here you have your coastal. This is gonna make this probably made its way through, but with I mean this 90 mile-an-hour wind gusts. I mean this is a strong, very incredibly strong storm. See that pocket probably made its way through. Yeah, not as strong yet as you can see the nor'easter, but you know you can't really get to that period right there. But I mean, this is probably 85 mile-an-hour gusts on the Cape and Islands too. And you can see there's two pockets here, and these are the pockets that I'm watching. They're both producing 80 plus mile-an-hour gusts and very strong sustained winds as well. So this is something that I think needs to be closely monitored. As you see, Worcester is a big time city in central Massachusetts. If you don't know where that is, 70 mile-an-hour gusts at this point. I mean, at the peak of the storm, as you can see, indicating 70 mile-an-hour gusts and close to 30 mile-an-hour sustained winds, but also indicating over 2 inches of rain. There's going to be some flooding with this as well, it looks like. And then after the storm, as you can see, still strong gusts into the 30s and 40s. So there's definitely a lot of concern with this storm, and this needs to be continued to monitor. As you can see, the Euro, see that pocket still? It's still there with 70 mile-an-hour plus wind gusts as it's making its way away from the coast, I guess you could say. But I mean, this is just an incredibly strong storm indicated from the Euro. And as you can see, the later part from this storm, wind gusts still incredibly strong, 50 plus mile-an-hour wind gusts all across the state of Massachusetts, 40, 50 plus. This is a very strong storm in general. It needs to be continued to watch, as you can see. And now shifting gears, if I have time, I'm going to show you the gem, because some of the rain totals that it was producing were quite incredible from earlier, from the 12Z run. So shifting gears here to the GFS, I haven't seen this yet, so I'm going to be looking at this with you. And there's your low. Not to the same caliber, putting it a little bit more off the coast, which would leave indicating some mixed precipitation too. That could be a strong snowmaker from Maine potentially. I didn't even think about that component actually. Wow. Let's take a look at the rain totals first from the GFS. See what this has. Yeah, it's got some good rain totals for sure. Some very strong precipitation across Maine, almost 3+ inches. A good 1 to 2 widespread inches across eastern Massachusetts too. Take a look at the wind here. Definitely not the same caliber though. I wonder what the Euro was seeing to make it that strong. But I mean, yeah, it's a pretty strong wind field, I guess, on that east side. I'd say the storm has to go over has to make landfall, I guess you could almost say, if you want to, in order to pack a punch with those winds. 40 mile-an-hour sustained winds. Yeah. Alright, that's a little conflicting, but whether it stays offshore and whether it goes inland is going to be very crucial. As you can see, there's those two wind pockets that I'm talking about. You obviously have your massive one here on the coast that's sliding down, but you also have this one right here, as you can see, just to the left of the 983 low. There's that one pocket, and that's what the Euro was picking up on. Those very strong wind gusts here. It's putting it more on the coast, not having it be as big of a factor. But again, this is something we're going to have to watch here, and I'll just show you this CMC, the gem model, before I leave. As you can see, very strong storm, 60 mile-an-hour winds, potentially sustained. And take a look at the rain right before as I go. 6-7 inches. This is going to be a big one, folks. I'll